Shalom, shalom, and Chodesh Tov. This week's Parsha is Parshat Toldot, and I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the blessing that Yitzchak wanted to give to Esau, but who Rivka went to great lengths to make sure it didn't, but went to Yaakov instead. So, why did Yitzchak want to give it to Esau, and why did Rivka make sure that it went to Yaakov? So, in order to understand that, you need to understand the differences between Yaakov and Esau, who were twins, fraternal twins. Esau was very hairy. Yaakov was not. Esau, we're told, was loved by his father because he was Sayed B'Piv, which literally means Sayed is a hunter, and Piv is mouth, meaning he would hunt game and feed it to his father. Or, as the commentaries tell us, Sayed, he would hunt B'Piv with his mouth, meaning he was manipulative with his words. And we're told that Yaakov was an Ish Tam Yoshev Ba'olim, a straightforward, honest man who resided in the tents, not a worldly man. And yet, now, either way that we want to define it, it's problematic to say that Yitzchak wanted to give the blessing to Esau because he could hunt and feed people. That is not exactly the quality that is so wonderful that it's worthy to pass on the mantle of Avraham Avinu. You have to be much more than that to do that. And if you want to say it's, well, he thought that Esau was this great tzaddik, a great righteous person because Esau was able to trick him with his words, we also see that that can't be fully true because when Yaakov came to try and get the blessing from Yitzchak, and he dressed up in the hairy furs, Yitzchak knew right away that something was not right based on the fact that Yaakov was speaking in a refined manner. He said, please, he had a soft way of speaking. He was just had good quality person. And Yitzchak suspected that that wasn't the case because he knew Esau was gruff and ill-mannered and that, that it couldn't be him. So he wasn't fully tricked into thinking that Esau was some perfect person. But why is it then he wanted to give him the blessing? I think the reason he wanted to give him the blessing is because he saw, despite that Esau was a worldly person. And the fact that he can hunt showed that he was tactical and strategic, and he knew how to make connections and get people. So he thought that in order to have an effect in the world, you have to be out there and you have to be able to be strategic. But what Rivka realized is that it wasn't just that he was gruff and ill-mannered. What he was doing when he left the house was a great disgrace, that he was sexually immoral, that he had no qualms about killing and idol worship, as we see because he married two idol worshippers. He was not doing good things when he left the house, and you can't be an influence on the world for good if you're doing bad things. And she saw that Yaakov had very good character and that people with good character are what we need, caring, loving, good people in the world. And so she wanted Yaakov to take it instead to influence the world. The problem was that Yitzchak had a very good point that in order to influence the world, you do have to be worldly and out there and strategic. And Yaakov was not that person. So now, when Yaakov got the blessing, we're told that Esau wanted to kill him, and so Rivka and Yaakov spoke about him having to run away, and Rivka told Yitzchak that she wanted him to take a wife not from Canaan because the women from Canaan were a source of great displeasure, shall I say, to the two of them in terms of their practice. It caused a lot of strain in the home. And so Yitzchak said, go to the house of Laban. So according to Rivka and Yaakov, he's running for his life, according to Yitzchak, to find a bride. But either way, cosmically speaking, in the big picture, in order for Yaakov, who now took the blessing of Esau, to be the proper person, proper vessel to be able to go out there and do what it was Abraham started to do and to continue it. He couldn't just be moral and ethical. He had to learn how to be diplomatic, how to deal with people. And he was forced into the house of Laban, and Laban was a very cunning manipulative person, as we know from the story way back with Eliezer and Rivka, and also we see it time and time again when Yaakov's living with him, with the switching of the wives, with him trying to um, manipulate him into working hard and getting rich off of him and not giving him his due, and all sorts of things. And it took Yaakov uh, 4 wives, 12 kids, many years in terms of dealing with this manipulative, cunning person, how to be able to deal with all sorts of things and yet maintain his moral and ethical integrity. He didn't want to be compromised that way, but yet he needed to be able to live and to be a good influence on his family and on everybody else at the same time. So it's a learning process, and he went through that. And after all these years, he was able, through living to Levan, to learn how to be more strategic. And then he was having to go out there and to be a shepherd and work out in the world for so many years. He learned to go out and to deal with different things and different people. And all this together gave him the personality traits, the tools, and the ability to be the person to take on this bracha, to house the blessing, and to be able to have an effect on the greater world. And only then, when he left the house of Lavan with the built character, was he able to meet Esau um, head on. Now he was not only morally and ethical superior, but he was on the same level, and he knew how to be strategic. He made a three-pronged plan when he met up with Esau that managed to quell the anger of Esau. Not only that, he gave him a big hug and a kiss, and he was able to leave in peace. This was a man who wanted to kill him, but he learned how to deal with him properly, and that was right there a show of his growth. And so at this point, now we learn that in order to really be worthy of the name of Yisrael, to be a descendant, and to have an influence in the world, we have to be good, we have to be honest, we have to be moral, but we cannot be naive, and we have to know how to deal with people in a strategic manner while maintaining our moral and ethics. Not an easy thing to do, um, but that is our lot. And I hope we can take all the lessons that we learn in the Torah and make our forefathers proud. Shabbat Shalom.